Hello, shalom. Leviticus 6. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, when any being sins and commits a trespass against Yahweh, and has lied to his neighbor about a deposit, or about a pledge, or about a robbery, or shall extort from his neighbor, or has found what was lost and has lied concerning it, or did swear falsely, so that he sins in regard to any one of all these that a man does, then it shall be, when he sins and shall be guilty, that he shall return what he took by robbery, or what he has extorted, or the deposit which was deposited with him, or the lost item which he found, or all that about which he swore falsely. He shall repay its total value, add 1/5 more to it, and give it to whom it belongs on the day of his guilt offering. Then he brings his guilt offering to Yahweh, a ram, a perfect one, from the flock, with your valuation as a guilt offering to the priest. And the priest shall make atonement for him before Yahweh, and he shall be forgiven for whatever he did that he made him guilty. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, command Aaron and his sons, saying, this is the Torah of the ascending offering. This is the ascending offering, because it is burned on the slaughter place all night until morning. And the fire of the slaughter place is kept burning on it. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and put his linen trousers on his body, and shall take up the ashes of the ascending offering which the fire has consumed on the slaughter place, and shall put them beside the slaughter place. And he shall take off his garments, and put on other garments, and shall bring the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the slaughter place is kept burning on it. It is not put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and arrange the ascending offering on it, and shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. Fire is continually kept burning on the slaughter place. It is not put out. And this is the Torah of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall bring it near before Yahweh in front of the slaughter place, and shall take from it with his hand from the fine flour of the grain offering, and from its oil, and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the slaughter place for a sweet fragrance, as its remembrance portion to Yahweh. Then Aaron and his sons eat the rest of it. It is eaten with unleavened bread in the set-apart place. They eat it in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. It is not baked with leaven. I have given it to them as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most set apart, like the sin offering and the guilt offering. All the males among the children of Aaron eat it, a law forever in your generations concerning the offerings made by fire to Yahweh. All that touches them is to be set apart. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, this is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they bring near to Yahweh, beginning on the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour is a daily grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it in the evening. It is made on a griddle with oil. Bring it in mixed. Bring the baked portions of the grain offering near, a sweet fragrance to Yahweh. And the anointed priest from among his sons, who is in his place, prepares it, a law forever to Yahweh. All of it has to be burned. And every grain offering for the priest is completely burned. It is not eaten. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, this is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the ascending offering is slain, the sin offering is slain before Yahweh. It is most set apart. The priest who is making atonement eats it. In the set-apart place it is eaten, in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. All that touches its flesh is to be set apart. And when its blood is sprinkled on any garment, you wash that on which it was sprinkled in a set-apart place. But the earthen vessel in which it is cooked is to be broken. And if it is cooked in a bronze pot, then it is to be scoured and rinsed in water. Every male among the priests eats it. It is most set apart. And no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tent of appointment to make atonement in the set-apart place is eaten. It is burned with fire. Chapter 7. And this is the Torah of the guilt offering. It is most set apart. The guilt offering is slain in the place where they slay the ascending offering, and its blood is sprinkled on the slaughter place all around. Then he brings from it all its fat, the fat tail, and the fat that covers the entrails, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them by the loins, and the appendage on the liver, which he removes with the kidneys. And the priest shall burn them on the slaughter place as an ascending offering made by fire to Yahweh. It is a guilt offering. Every male among the priests eats it. It is eaten in the set-apart place. It is most set apart. The guilt offering is like the sin offering. There is one Torah for them both. The priest who makes atonement with it, it is his. And the priest who brings anyone's ascending offering, the skin of the ascending offering which he has brought is the priest's. It is his. And every grain offering that is baked in the oven, and all that is prepared in the stewing pot, or on a griddle, is the priest's who brings it. It is his. The grain offering, and every grain offering mixed with oil or dry, is for all the sons of Aaron, for all alike. And this is the Torah of the slaughtering of peace offerings, which is brought to Yahweh. If he brings it for a thanksgiving, then he shall bring with the slaughtering of the thanksgiving unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened thin cakes anointed with oil, or cakes of finely blended flour mixed with oil. Besides the cakes he brings as his offering leavened bread, together with the slaughtering of the thanksgiving of his peace offerings. And from it he shall bring 1 cake from each offering, as a contribution to Yahweh. To the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offerings, it is his. As for the flesh of the slaughtering of his peace offerings for thanksgiving, it is eaten the same day it is offered. He does not leave any of it until morning. And if the slaughtering he brings is a vow or a voluntary offering, it is eaten the same day that he brings his slaughtering. And what is left of it is eaten the next day. But whatever is left of the flesh of the slaughtering on the 3rd day is burned with fire. However, if any of the flesh of the slaughtering of his peace offerings is eaten at all on the 3rd day, it is not accepted. It is not reckoned to him who brings it. It is unclean to him, and the being who eats of it bears his crookedness. And the flesh that touches that which is unclean is not eaten. It is burned with fire. And as for the clean flesh, all who are clean eat of it. But the being who eats the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offerings that belongs to Yahweh, while he is unclean, that being shall be cut off from his people. And what a being who touches that which is unclean, of the uncleanness of man, or the uncleanness of beast, or of any unclean abomination, and shall eat the flesh of the slaughtering of peace offerings that belongs to Yahweh, that being shall be cut off from his people. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Do not eat any fat of bull or sheep or goat, and the fat of a dead body, and the fat of what is torn is used for any purpose, but you do not eat it at all. For whoever eats the fat of the beast which men bring as an offering made by fire to Yahweh, even that being who eats it shall be cut off from his people. And do not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, of bird or of beast. Any being who eats any blood, even that being shall be cut off from his people. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, He who brings his slaughtering of peace offerings to Yahweh brings his offering to Yahweh from the slaughtering of his peace offerings. With his own hands he brings the offering made by fire to Yahweh. He brings the fat with the breast to be waved as a wave offering before Yahweh. And the priest shall burn the fat on the slaughter place, but the beast shall be Aaron's and his sons'. And the right thigh you give to the priest as a contribution from the slaughtering of your peace offerings. He among the sons of Aaron, who brings the blood of the peace offerings, and the fat, the right thigh is his for a portion. For the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the contribution I have taken from the children of Israel, from the slaughterings of their peace offerings, and I give them to Aaron the priest and to his sons as a law forever from the children of Israel. This is the anointed portion for Aaron and the anointed portion for his sons, from the offerings made by fire to Yahweh on the day when Moshe presented them to serve as priests to Yahweh, which Yahweh commanded to be given to them by the children of Israel on the day that he anointed them, a law forever throughout their generations. This is the Torah of the ascending offering, of the grain offering, and of the sin offering, and of the guilt offering, and of the ordinations, and of the slaughterings of peace offerings, which Yahweh commanded Moshe on Mount Sinai, on the day when he commanded the children of Israel to bring their offerings to Yahweh in the wilderness of Sinai. Chapter 8. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, and the anointing oil, and the bull of the sin offering, and the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread, and assemble all the congregation at the door of the tent of appointment. And Moshe did as Yahweh commanded him, and the congregation was assembled at the door of the tent of appointment. And Moshe said to the congregation, This is the word Yahweh commanded to be done. So Moshe brought Aaron and his sons, and washed them with water, and put the long shirt on him, and girded him with the girdle, and dressed him in the robe, and put the shoulder garment on him, and girded him with the embroidered band of the shoulder garment, and with it tied the shoulder garment on him, and put the breastplate on him, and put the Urim and Thummim in the breastplate, and put the turban on his head, and on the turban on its front he put the golden plate, the set-apart sign of dedication, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And Moshe took the anointing oil, and anointed the dwelling place, and all that was in it, and set them apart. And he sprinkled some of it on the slaughter place 7 times, and anointed the slaughter place and all its utensils, and the basin and its base, to set them apart. And he poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, and anointed him to set him apart. And Moshe brought the sons of Aaron, and put long shirts on them, and girded them with girdles, and put turbans on them, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he brought the bull for the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull for the sin offering, and it was slain. And Moshe took the blood, and put some on the horns of the slaughter place all around with his finger, and cleansed the slaughter place. And he poured the blood at the base of the slaughter place, and set it apart to make atonement for it. And he took all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and Moshe burned them on the slaughter place. And the bull and its skin and its flesh and its dung he burned with fire outside the camp, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he brought the ram of the ascending offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and it was slain. And Moshe sprinkled the blood on the slaughter place all around, and he cut the ram into pieces, and Moshe burned the head and the pieces and the fat. And he washed the entrails and the legs in water, and Moshe burned the entire ram on the slaughter place. It was an ascending offering for a sweet fragrance, and an offering made by fire to Yahweh, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And he brought the second ram, the ram of ordination, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and it was slain. And Moshe took some of its blood, and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And he brought near the sons of Aaron, and Moshe put some of the blood on the tip of their ears, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. And Moshe sprinkled the blood on the slaughter place all around, and took the fat and the fat tail, and all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage on the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and their fat, and the right thigh, and from the basket of unleavened bread that was before Yahweh, he took 1 unleavened cake, and a cake of bread anointed with oil, and 1 thin cake, and put them on the fat and on the right thigh, and placed all these on the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and waved them as a wave offering before Yahweh. Moshe then took them from their hands, and burned them on the slaughter place on the ascending offering. They were ordinations for a sweet fragrance. It was an offering by fire to Yahweh. And Moshe took the breast, and waved it, a wave offering before Yahweh. It was Moshe's portion of the ram of ordination, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And Moshe took some of the anointing oil, and some of the blood which was on the slaughter place, and sprinkled it on Aaron, on his garments, and on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him. And he set apart Aaron, his garments, and his sons, and the garments of his sons with him. And Moshe said to Aaron and his sons, Cook the flesh at the door of the tent of appointment, and eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of ordinations, as I have commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons are to eat it. Then burn the rest of the flesh and the bread with fire, and do not go outside the door of the tent of appointment for 7 days, until the days of your ordination are completed. For he fills your hands for 7 days. Yahweh has commanded to do as he has done this day, to make atonement for you. And stay at the door of the tent of appointment day and night for 7 days, and you shall guard the duty of Yahweh and not die, for so I have been commanded. And Aaron and his sons did all the words that Yahweh had commanded by the hand of Moshe. Chapter 9. And on the 8th day it came to be that Moshe called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. And he said to Aaron, Take for yourself a young bull as a sin offering, and a ram as an ascending offering, a perfect one, and bring them before Yahweh. and speak to the children of Israel, saying, take a male goat as a sin offering, and a calf and a lamb, both a year old, perfect ones, as an ascending offering, and a bull and a ram as peace offerings, to slaughter before Yahweh, and a grain offering mixed with oil, for today Yahweh shall appear to you. And they took what Moshe commanded before the tent of appointment, and all the congregation drew near and stood before Yahweh. And Moshe said, this is the word which Yahweh commanded you to do, so that the esteem of Yahweh appears to you. And Moshe said to Aaron, go to the slaughter place and prepare your sin offering and your ascending offering, and make atonement for yourself and for the people, and make the offering of the people, and make atonement for them, as Yahweh has commanded. So Aaron came near to the slaughter place and slew the calf for the sin offering, which was for himself. And the sons of Aaron brought the blood to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, and put it on the horns of the slaughter place, and poured the blood at the base of the slaughter place. And the fat and the kidneys and the appendage on the liver of the sin offering he burned on the slaughter place, as Yahweh had commanded Moshe. And the flesh and the skin he burned with fire outside the camp. And he slew the ascending offering, and the sons of Aaron presented to him the blood which he sprinkled on the slaughter place all around. And they presented the ascending offering to him with its pieces and head, and he burned them on the slaughter place. And he washed the entrails and the legs, and burned them with the ascending offering on the slaughter place. And he brought the people's offering, and took the goat, which was the sin offering for the people, and slew it, and made it a sin offering like the first one. And he brought the ascending offering, and made it according to the right ruling. He also brought the grain offering, and filled his hand with it, and burned it on the slaughter place, beside the ascending offering of the morning. And he slew the bull and the ram as a slaughtering of peace offerings, which were for the people. And Aaron's sons presented to him the blood which he sprinkled on the slaughter place all around, and the fat from the bull and the ram, the fat tail and the covering, and the kidneys and the appendage on the liver. And they placed the fat on the breasts, and he burned the fat on the slaughter place. But the breasts and the right thigh Aaron waved as a wave offering before Yahweh, as Moshe had commanded. Aaron then lifted up his hand toward the people and blessed them, and came down from making the sin offering and the ascending offering and the peace offerings. And Moshe and Aaron went into the tent of appointment, and came out and blessed the people. And the esteem of Yahweh appeared to all the people. And fire came out from before Yahweh, and consumed the ascending offering and the fat on the slaughter place. And all the people saw, and cried aloud, and fell on their faces. Chapter 10. And Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his fire holder, and put fire in it, and put incense on it, and brought strange fire before Yahweh, which he had not commanded them. And fire came out from Yahweh, and consumed them, and they died before Yahweh. Then Moshe said to Aaron, this is what Yahweh spoke, saying, by those who come near me, let me be set apart. And before all the people, let me be esteemed. And Aaron was silent. And Moshe called to Mishael and to Elitzaphan, the sons of Uzziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, come near, take your brothers from before the set-apart place out of the camp. So they came near, and took them by their long shirts out of the camp, as Moshe had said. And Moshe said to Aaron, and to Eleazar, and to Ithamar his sons, do not unbind your heads, nor tear your garments, lest you die, and wrath come upon all the people. But let your brothers, all the house of Israel, bewail the burning which Yahweh has kindled. Do not go out from the door of the tent of appointment, lest you die, for the anointing oil of Yahweh is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moshe. And Yahweh spoke to Aaron, saying, do not drink wine or strong drink, you nor your sons with you, when you go into the tent of appointment, lest you die, a law forever throughout your generations, so as to make a distinction between the set apart and the profane, and between the unclean and the clean, and to teach the children of Israel all the laws which Yahweh has spoken to them by the hand of Moshe. And Moshe spoke to Aaron and to Eleazar and to Ithamar his sons, who were left, take the grain offering that is left over from the offerings made by fire to Yahweh, and eat it without leaven beside the slaughter place, for it is most set apart. And you shall eat it in a set apart place, because it is yours by law, and your sons by law, of the offerings made by fire to Yahweh, for so I have been commanded. And the breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the contribution you eat in a clean place, you and your sons and your daughters with you, for they are yours by law, and your sons by law, which are given from the slaughterings of peace offerings of the children of Israel. The thigh of the contribution and the breast of the wave offering they bring with the offerings of fat made by fire to bring as a wave offering before Yahweh, and it shall be yours and your sons with you by a law forever, as Yahweh commanded. And Moshe diligently looked for the goat of the sin offering, and saw it was burned up. And he was wroth with Eleazar and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, who were left, saying, Why have you not eaten the sin offering in the set-apart place, since it is most set apart? And Elohim has given it to you, to bear the crookedness of the congregation, to make atonement for them before Yahweh. See, its blood was not brought inside the set-apart place. You should have eaten it without fail in the set-apart place, as I have commanded. And Aaron said to Moshe, See, today they have brought their sin offering and their ascending offering before Yahweh, and matters like these have come to me. If I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been right in the eyes of Yahweh? And then Moshe heard that it was good in his eyes. Chapter 6 through 10. I hope you have a lovely day. May the Father's face shine upon you. Shalom.